All right, welcome to the SnydeReport podcast. I am your host, Gary Snyder. Before we get to my guest, which you can see kind of right over here, maybe over here. It all depends where they put him up at. Anyway, we need to thank Robin Winston. Robin, the great sponsor of ours, been around since the beginning of the newsletter. We now reach over 100,000 subscribers daily. And also, we cannot forget about former Congresswoman Jill Long Thompson. Her book, Across the Aisle, Why Bipartisanship Works for America. And our newest sponsor, let's give it up for Congressman Andre Carson, always a great supporter of ours. But my guest today, Fred Wellman. Fred, welcome.
Good to see you, brother. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
Oh, yeah.
Hanging in there.
Exciting times.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Exciting or stupid or maybe a combination
it's a
of
mixture.
both.
Plenty of content. I mean, if you're, if you're a little bit, it's like, oh, lots to talk about.
Well, obviously, you're the host of On Democracy, part of Vote Vets. You're a veteran yourself, probably a little bit more than I am.
Who's to say?
We wanted to bring you on today because of, Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, is back in the news, not for anything good. So you've been very vocal of this on social media, and we thought we would get your view on this.
Well, what's happened is the biggest fear we had with Pete Hegseth was he's never managed an organization larger than a platoon. Okay, mm-hmm. Which if in the military speak, you're talking 30 or 40 dudes. Okay, that's seriously his pack.
Right.
While it had big numbers, was like 15 people. I mean, he's never managed a large organization. So they took a guy with almost no management experience whatsoever and gave him the largest department of the United States military. Okay, of the United States government. Period. Like bar none. I mean, it's by far away the largest budget, the most powerful military in the world. I mean, the layers of things that go into being Secretary of Defense is shocking. And it says a lot about his arrogance that he thought he was up to the job. Let's start there. But two, the delusion that goes with what the selections were made. Now we're finding out that it was kind of an end run that happened. Susie Wiles took some vacation, and Jared Kushner and Don Jr. did an end run on her with Trump and got Hegseth in there. And our biggest fear was that level of incompetence. And then what's mixed with it, though, is an arrogance and a narcissism that the entire world revolves around Pete Hegseth. And that's what we're seeing. He has very, very, very poor choice, very, very poor judge of character of those he surrounds himself with. He has very poor judge of what looks right and what doesn't. And it's just disheartening. And so a lot of these latest scandals are all of his own making. I mean, the poor judgment, the poor decision-making, the poor selection of who to trust has been a disaster for our soldiers and service members.
No, he goes on Fox and Friends or whatever, all these other news stations. One of the interviews, he looks like he's about half lit.
Yeah, just yesterday with Fox and Friends with Brian Kelly.
And tries to convince us that we're not seeing what we see with our own eyes.
Right.
And tries to tell us, well, these aren't battle plans. He goes down, makes every excuse for it. And then we come to find out that all the information that he sent to his wife and his brother and his
lawyer,
personal lawyer, came from an encrypted and classified channel.
Yes. Yeah, from the CENTCOM commander, which if you remember, Gary, if you follow me, I've been saying that since day one. Because if you look at what he put up, the strike plans, and this is the game he's playing. Oh, they're not war plans. I look at war plans every day. Dude, it's a strike plan. It's just, what he's playing is this fucking game. So, pardon my language, the game. And the game is, it's not a war plan. They were strike plans. They were the strike plans. It was a con op, whatever you want to freaking call it. It was classified information. Right. And if you look at the way what they showed in the Atlantic article, it was all perfectly spaced. Perfectly, there was no typos. I mean, like 6 lines of F-18s, 0630. But you know what I'm saying? That was copied and pasted, right? He didn't sit on his phone and hammer out, looking at his computer. Come on, give me a freaking break, okay? Nobody can do that. No. So it was a copy and paste into Signal. So where did he get it from? Well, we now know it was from a classified document. So when you unpack the layers of the Signal thing, which is what I've been doing a lot of, obviously, is it gets darker and darker. It was sent by General Kurilla via SIPR by the secret internet protocol called the SIPR, the secret internet. From there, it somehow made its way to his personal phone, and that's a mystery. They're doing anything they can to avoid that conversation.
Right.
And somehow it went from the SIPR net to his personal phone. did the email get forwarded? Did someone did he copy and paste it somehow? I mean, there's ways you can air gap things. He clearly air gapped it. We call it air gap when you jump from one system to the next. So that's a spillage in itself. And so it's just one lie. And then the thing, the deal. Once you start lying, you got to come up with bigger lies. You got to come up with more lies and lie. And that's the problem right now. He's got layers of lies. And they came right out with the second one saying the latest Signalgate. Oh, well, it's just disgruntled employees thinking, okay, that's great. But is it true? Well, there are not war plans. But is it true? And so it's just a game, man. I honestly, and I'm having fun. I'm just raking them. I just decided, I made a conscious decision. I'm gonna do videos. I'm gonna do posts about him and just make him uncomfortable because look, he's not a good person. I mean,
No.
it's not that he's an alcoholic. Maybe he's got PTSD. I don't know. Either way, I fault you for not treating it at this point. You've gone through 3 wives, kids, affairs, alcohol. Now this ridiculous charade of a Secretary of Defense situation. It's like, I don't know. I've lost whatever sympathy I could have had for him long ago.
It's rock and roll. It's racing. It's Miller Lite Carb Day. Co-headlined by the All-American Rejects and Bret Michaels. Friday, May 23rd at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Following the final Indy 500 practice and the Pit Stop Challenge. Concert, pit, and VIP tickets available now at IMS.com.
And he's going to get someone killed eventually.
That's it.
The Houthis are shooting down our drones. And it's just a matter of time before one of those hits one of our planes.
They get an F-18 because they got this guy. Look, we now know he's sharing Signal with his wife, okay? Mm-hmm. So all I can do is hack his personal phone or hack her personal phone. Signal is not secure if they've hacked the fucking end-to-end, right?
Right.
If they can see your screen, which is what most of these guys do, Signal's not secure. It just keeps it from being intercepted and not encrypted. But the idea they're sending these plans and they're still doing it. Look, the punch of all this is nothing has changed in the Trump administration. They're still using Signal to do all their planning. They create groups each time. They're using an unsecure app to do all. It is the most dangerous intelligence spill probably in modern American history because of the fools we have in charge who think they're above the rules. The rules are just for little people.
And this is one of the most arrogant human beings that, I mean, I'm guessing that his arrogance and his ego is right up there with Trump's at this point. Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's been fluffed for so long, and I knew him before. I knew him when he first started off on the road of being a veterans advocate with Concerned Veterans America. This is a very different guy, and we saw him grow more and more arrogant. The more he was on Fox News, the more time he spent on Fox News, the more narcissistic, the more arrogant he got, the more the world revolved around Pete, which happens. You look at Jesse Waters, like all these people, it's easy to become so, but none of that's worn off now that he's back in the world of the military. He still thinks he's God. And then you see today where his wife had them put a makeup studio in the Pentagon press conference, right? It's just like, okay, that's actually not a terrible idea per se, but is this your priority as the Secretary of Defense? I mean, the punch on that whole story is he's not even used the goddamn press conference. He's never had a press conference. He only uses it to go on Fox and Friends. So they're doing all this work so he can look good for his Fox News hits, not for the good of the Pentagon or DOD or anyone else. It's just about Pete. The Pentagon revolves around Pete's fucking head.
I think they're going to can him, but they're not going to can him right away. They're going to wait till this dies down so it doesn't look like the press chased him out. Am I wrong?
Yeah. I think so. I think he's toast. We know the knives are out for him. You see the spillage, the drip of stories. I don't know if you saw just before we went on, the story came out in the Daily Mail that the staff at the Pentagon call his wife Yoko Ono, and that she controls everything. And the reason she controls everything is to make sure that he doesn't drink, doesn't screw around, and keeps his pants zipped. Okay, so that's literally so somewhat another anonymous so there's just a drip. It reminds me of Madison Cawthorn that there's a lot more coming. If you remember the op-ed that John Ulyat did in the Politico magazine on Sunday. One of the last 2 paragraphs said there's more stories coming.
Oh, they implied that.
And we're seeing that. That's where we're seeing the makeup studio. We're seeing the Yoko Ono story. There's gonna be a lot more, and there's probably worse. My gut tells me he hasn't been sober, and that's gonna come out.
If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Fred Wellman of On Democracy. We need to remind you our sponsors, Robin Winston, great sponsor of both the podcast and the newsletter. We got former Congresswoman Jill Long Thompson, her latest book, Across the Aisle, Why Bipartisanship Works for America. And we need to thank our newest sponsor, Congressman Andre Carson. So thank you, Congressman. Fred, anything else before we let you run?
I think it's a great story to have, Gary. I appreciate having me, man. It is an interesting time. I think it goes beyond politics at this point. It's our national security at this point. So, I laugh about this stuff. I also know that bullies don't like being mocked. So I'm making a very good point of mocking them. So if people want to follow me, my Substack's fpwellman.substack.com. And of course, I'm everywhere, FP Wellman. I've been doing those daily videos. Seems like every time I go for a walk,
I see 'em
something
everywhere.
stupid happens. Yeah, every time I step out to do a walk, I'm like, well, that was stupid. I just flip my camera and go, all right, here we go. You're gonna love this one. They're doing an anti-Christian bias task force. You can't, it's just like every time you turn around right now. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. And
No, thank you for joining us. And just a reminder, hit that subscribe button below so you can kind of follow us on YouTube. Hit that like button on this interview if you like it, but help us figure out this god-awful crazy YouTube algorithm. I don't know.
That's why.
Anyway, I'm Gary Snyder. He's not. He's Fred Wellman of On Democracy, and we are out.